Hey everybody, this is Stephanie and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do my 2025 bullet journal setup and I am happy for it because this is all about black girl magic, black magical girls, all of it. That's what we're doing. Before we get into the setup, let's get into the supplies. So here are all the stickers that I'm going to be using. I might not use them all. Here are some washes that I got from Michael's. Here are all the Tombos that I got. Yes, this is basically the pastel set. And here's one paper pad across the galaxy. Was it actually, I've had this paper pad for a very long time and used it this time. And then here's like a mini flip through if I haven't done a flip through on my channel. If I have, I'll link it. If I haven't, I'm going to do one. And here's the other one, Prism Magic. I'd love to say that this did the heavy lifting, but it didn't because I only found this like after I'd already been using the other one. But this is the one that I had in my mind the whole time because I knew I had it. So anyway, let's get into it. The first part of my journal is going to be my cover page for 2025. And now, for my journal, I am just continuing on in a journal that I already have. I don't like wasting pages, I don't like wasting books. So, instead of getting a brand new book for the new year, I have just continued on in the book that I already have. It also goes to how I imagine planning. Like, my mind doesn't just stop because it's a new year or it's a new month. It's just 100% a new, it's a new year, but that doesn't mean that I'm not carrying over last year into new year. Life is a continuation and it doesn't have stops. So, why waste pages? I don't know. I might do it when I was doing that, when I was like just switching over new books because it was a new year. I found that, nothing just felt cohesive. It was hard for me to it was hard for me to continue plans because, like, just stopping the book so abruptly and getting into a new one just because it was a new year. I wasn't like I wasn't always transitioning everything that I was working on from the last year into the new year. This does help me now that I plan, but now that I plan more, I don't know, that could change. But who's to say? Like I said, either way, the decision's been made and the book just continues. So having this cover page for 2025 helps me to, at least make the distinction in the book that it's a new page. I will always at least go back and refer to this page and say that it's 2025. So that's the only distinction that I need. I don't necessarily need a new book. So now let's talk about this focus page. So for me, I used to have a goals page, and this is kind of where this started from. But what I realized with my goals page is that it became a static page that said, these are what my goals are, and I never would flip back to this page. And for real, I don't think I was ever getting these goals accomplished. So it would always be like something generic, like, okay, I'm gonna lose some weight and some stuff like that. Like, that's always goal, but I would never actually go through with it. So I decided that I needed to go back and revamp this into something that made sense for me. And that's how I came up with this focus page. So within the past couple of months, what's been working for me is to just have a focus. When I have some free time, what can I do to progress one of my focuses? Foci? One of my focuses. And this works for me. This works for my brain. So I have about 4 things that I focus on. And for once I actually wrote them down, I have like more than 4. More than 5, which is what I wrote here, but these will be the ones that I continually grow and water because what you water will grow. So I made this space here for that so that I can write them down and I can kind of progress throughout the year and throughout the month. So what I'm doing for each goal, I'll always be able to go back and refer to it. So what I did here, I kind of didn't plan this page either. I just kind of started working and figuring out what I wanted to do. So I did these 5 boxes, and on the other side of the spread, I also will write down more information. So in the small boxes, an overview of what the set goal is, say it's short, say it's succinct, and then on the other side, write some more out to it because in my mind, there's always just a little bit more information. Okay. So what you see me doing here, I have, I'm just drawing some vines, and I'm going to add in some cute little butterflies. Now this butterfly winds up being the only butterfly that I liked, because the rest of them looked big and clunky, and they wound up looking like hair bows or hair ribbons instead of butterflies. But, we ride and we roll with it. And this is that spread. So I'm just going to add in more details because uh, I'm thinking it just looked a little too plain for me. So I'm adding like stitching on this box and like the other box up top, and then I'm just going to add some stitching to the middle one. This is when I discovered that I have this purple Fudenosuke pen, and I've been having it for as long as I've had the pastel. It might have come in the pastel crayons or in the pastel tombos, but I've been having it for a very long time and just never could figure out how to use it. So now, after much ado, this is how I'm going to use it. Now, this is going to be my future log. So I know for me, I've seen a lot of people with their future logs go kind of in a different direction. For me, I need to see my year all at once. And yeah, like I feel like to have more space I could have done this on like a Dutch door or something, but I just need to see my whole year at once. And for the most part, I use this for like if I'm out and about and I know that it is now January and I need to do something in March, then I'm just going to quickly write it down in March. And then once I actually get to March, I'm going to go back to my future log and write all that stuff into my March calendar. Because there's so little space here, I'm going to keep this very simple. So I just drew some lines and I'm going to separate it. I'm going to add in a calendar for each month and and let that be that. I'm going to keep this page very minimal because I don't want to take up a bunch of space. I don't want to take up my planning space with a bunch of decoration. This next spread is my keep in touch spread. So this is a spread where the idea is that I will make a key and write down or color in each day I contact somebody in my VIP list, as in my very important people list, my people who make me my people list. This is just a visual reminder to make sure that I'm contacting those people and how often I'm contacting these people, because like in my mind I feel like I stay in constant communication, but then I realize that hey, it's been like 2 months since I texted my friend or since I talked to my friend on the phone. I need to catch up and see how they doing. So this is something I definitely want to make sure that I'm keeping on top of, because like my friends are very important people to me. And if I'm not curating those relationships, then am I a good friend? Probably not. So this is dedicated to the real ones. So I plan on keeping this one simple. I have a little bit of decoration at the bottom. Again, going with that theme of Black Girl Magic and just magical Black girls. I put like a bunch of gemstones in the bottom from the Across the Galaxy paper pad, and I put some of the stickers down that I printed off of Pinterest, and I'm going to keep it simple. So I'm going to line this, and then I'm going to start writing in all the months. And again, for each month, I plan on just doing a little outline. I was going to go all the way up and found out that I couldn't go all the way up on the page. I only have 40 boxes and I already did some decorating. So I just like cut the month in half and did it that way. So as you can see now, I'm just going to write in those months so I don't get lost. And the idea is that every time I contact somebody on my key, I will just color in a box. Now I'm going to put up some constellations that also came out of the Across the Galaxy paper pad. So again, I've had this paper pad for a while. I'm just now going through it, but I thought it matched the aesthetic very well. So I just pulled some of them out of that paper pad and kind of just went free with it. Next up, my theme page. So for this spread, I normally do this like in the back. So sometime during 1 month, I will plan my next month's theme. But I decided that, sometimes I'll have an idea for the next 2 or 3 themes and I'll forget that because because I only plan for the next theme, or I only put like the markers and stuff for the next theme. So what I like about this is that by putting them all up front, I will always have access to it. And then honestly, more so than just having access to it later and knowing what I planned or the planning aspect, it is being able to remember which number tombow I am using. All I have to do is color it in and then add the number to the box, versus trying to hold on to them and leaving them and forgetting them and all that kind of stuff. So hoping that works out for me this year. I got this idea off of Pinterest, or at least the way that it looks. I got the idea off of Pinterest, and I know there is someone who does this. I forget her name. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the description below. But I know it's somebody who does this because I'm pretty sure I saw her stuff on Pinterest. But anyway, thank you, sis. Now I'm going to write down a phrase that's heavily been on my mind for the past like a couple of weeks. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. And I think that's great for the beginning of the year. Um, it comes from, of course, the phrase in and of itself has been a phrase for a very long time, but there is a heavily trippy song where it's like this DJ or something like that, but they have like a whole bunch of like elderly people in the video, and the whole thing to the song is ain't nothing to it but to do it. I something I said screw it, something like that. I can't remember the rest of it, but like it's been on my mind, and that's where this lyric is coming from. That's the inspiration. So I'm going to do my theme. I'm going to write in themes so I can remember what this spread was for. I'm also trying to do better at blending with my tombos, and instead of always using like the same 2 colors, purple and dark purple or something like that, I want to be able to smoothly blend and transition from one color to a different color. So I figured purple and blue would be 2 good colors to do that with. Now let's get into my next spread, which is my word of the year. I went back and forth about whether I actually wanted to do a word of the year, because like I had a word in my mind that I wanted, but I wasn't sure if this was serving me anymore. Like, it kind of, having a word of the year almost kind of makes me think like I have some kind of theme or some kind of focus for the year, and I already did my focus page with everything that I wanted to focus on. So what does a word of the year actually mean to me? And to me, it just, at least for this one, it was just a word that I felt like was currently resonating with me, and something that I felt like I could take its lesson into the next year and really like meditate and pray on that word and what it means and how to live it. And I really thought about it. I was just like, do you really just want to live a word? Is that enough of a character thing for you? And it's not. But I did think that this word, aplomb, was a big enough thing for me to recognize. So I think that's why it ultimately won out, especially with this definition. Self-confidence or assurance, especially when in a demanding situation. Now that I have my major elements down, I'm going to work to fill up the page. Now, I didn't want this page to be too busy, but I also didn't want to have these big empty spaces. So I'm just going to ink up, I'm going to color blend, I'm going to put stickers and washi and all kinds of stuff. So to start filling out this page, and honestly, like using these different techniques kind of brought back a kind of creativity that I haven't been able to just have in a while. Working to fill in this space, I'm going to take my stencil from Altenew and just color over it. Now, my stencil probably needs to be cleaned off because it has a bunch of different colors on it. But either way, I use a stencil to color in some spaces, and I did this with pink and I also did this with purple. Now let's do the last page, which is just going to be my vacation planner. So vacation isn't something that I plan for very well. Like normally I let my husband do this and he does a pretty good job of it, but I want to
I want to be more involved. It shouldn't just be something that's on his shoulders. That being said, this spread is really quick because, again, this page is more for information dumping and that kind of stuff. So I don't want to take up a bunch of space with a bunch of decorations. So we're putting up a sticker and we're going to call it quits. Now that all the spreads are done, let's do a final flip through. I can't wait for the new year and everything that it promises. Like, it's just going to be a great year, and I'm happy to be able to share that here with you on YouTube. If you made it this far, go ahead and give me a like, and I'll see you next time. Follow me on Instagram for more content, and again, I'll see you next time. Bye.